All right, you're listening to Keyword Crypto. I'm JJ, I'm here with Michael, and we have special guest, Richard Hart. Richard is a self-proclaimed e-commerce mogul turned cryptocurrency.
What is this self-proclaimed shit? Google it, dog. Look up the fucking corporate records. Like, don't... What? Okay, go ahead.
It's true. I'm taking your word for it. I'm not...
Don't take my fucking word for it. Trust is very cheap. Like, we built crypto to get rid of trust.
No, we didn't. We built Bitcoin to get rich.
Okay. Well,
that's it.
Maybe.
Just to get rich.
Maybe.
That's why everybody still has their shit on exchanges.
All right, well, screw my intro. If you want to know about Richard Hart,
right,
just Google
it. Do the rest of your intro.
No, that's
We're
it.
time warping.
Keyword crypto, blah, 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 let's talk. That's how it goes usually.
All right.
Yeah.
No, we're great.
I'm Richard Hart. I'll help the intro along. It's like a fledgling chick. It needs a little push out of the nest. I'm Richard Hart. You can see me on Twitter at Richard Hart Win. You can see me on YouTube, which you probably might be now since we're live streaming this, at Richard Hart. Heart like the heart in your chest, HEART. I founded a cryptocurrency called HEX, which you can claim for free if you're a Bitcoin holder, as long as you had coins at the snapshot. HEX.win. You can also transform Ethereum into it, so you don't have to deal with order books and exchanges that lose your money and get hacked and steal your money and all types of crap like that. Trustless is what I'm all about. And these fine gentlemen have a podcast I tried to visit their website and it's so slow. I was literally counting the seconds. It took 20 seconds for the website to load.
Serious?
So I didn't even bother linking to it. But if you guys want to like say what it is, here's your chance.
Keyword-crypto.com.
Yes. You have to put in some
have the
effort.
If you have the dash in there, it won't load because
entrepreneurs
keywordcrypto.com there's no website there, but somebody has it and wants to sell it for $10,000 and we're not going to pay for that. So keyword-crypto.com.
I'll give you guys a free lesson on branding after the show.
You can give it to us.
Do it now.
Do it right now.
The show is for everybody to learn. Yeah.
So everyone in crypto is stupid. So everyone registers a company name and identity and brand that revolves around 3 or 4 words, and everyone has the same 3 or 4 words. So everyone has block, crypto, coin, bit, and then you can just mix them up however you want. And then now no one can remember the difference between anyone else. And then it sucks so bad because they actually differentiate by the TLD, the final 3 letters. Is it a .com? Is it a .info? Is it .org? Did they rebrand? Shit like that. Now look, I got hex.win, but I have a good excuse for that. It's a fucking 3-letter dictionary word. Fuck yourself. That's $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you want, so I've had other brands in the past. So for instance, I owned a marketing company with 150 employees who did 60 million a year in sales, retail, mostly internet, some print, some radio, very little TV. And I learned that explaining how to spell something to someone is terrible. So I have a brand that I thought was good. So Skype, they became very successful. Doesn't make any damn sense, but it's pronounceable. It's like, nearly 1 syllable, right? Skype, it's quick. So I got Strape, almost the same damn thing, right? But for some reason, when I tell people Strape, they can't spell that shit. And then I say
like rape,
Strape,
dude.
STRAPE. Yeah, street rape. I'm familiar. So strawberry grape. I'm like, yeah, Strape, like strawberry grape. It just didn't fucking work.
You have to say that
so
over
even
and
that
over
brand,
again too.
Yeah, it was rough. So Hex, I never have that problem. You can't misspell it. You can't fuck it up. And if you do, I own the fuck ups and misspells too. So if you want to be giggly and type HECKS, yeah, I've got that. Right.
Nice.
But Hex, hexagon, you cast a spell, which is hex, which we avoid that version of it. Lamborghinis are all filled with hexagons. Every future movie is filled with hexagons. Ethereum addresses are hexadecimal. It's an absolutely fantastic brand. And once you start wearing hexagon shapes, right, you just see them everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. And it's actually really neat because I'm getting the free brand impact without having to fill the world with hexagons.
That's true.
So being able to tag on to something else, it's so popular. There's so many upsides to it. It's so easy to type, 3 letters. I love it.
How long did it take you to find that brand name, that brand shape?
I got lucky.
It just popped.
I got lucky. I registered every Bitcoin domain that was reasonable. And so I've got like Bitcoin Tiny, Bitcoin Yan, Bitcoin,
okay.
A bunch of Bitcoin everything's, right? Bitcoin ASP.
I wonder how many
you name it.
3-letter names are left that keyword crypto can
no
rebrand to. Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, Zilliqa's doing the whole.
The thing you have to remember is like,
go ahead.
It matters where you get your traffic from. So if you're the one generating all of your traffic, your like domain name could be like funkychicken.com or like Panic Rat or whatever. Like it could be anything, and it would be better than what you guys have now, probably. And since you're the only one generating the traffic, it would be totally fine. So I mean, let me tell you how important this is. Have you heard of Amazon?
No.
What's that?
Do they take you on tours through the Amazon River? No.
True.
Okay. Have you heard of Google?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I've
about
heard
Alphabet?
Of
They weren't
Google's
even happy
misspelled
with
anyway,
Google,
so there you
they
go.
were like, yeah. So they rebranded to Alphabet because Google wasn't fucking weird enough for them. Okay, how about an eBay? Where's the eBay? Is it near like the Bay of Pigs or something?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Right. So when you look at these wildly successful companies that pay millions and millions of dollars to rebrand to fucked up weird names, you should kind of figure out that you can just start with a fucked up weird name.
Well,
because
I think
you're going to end up there anyway.
We actually did start out with a different name that didn't involve the word crypto, but we found that we weren't getting a lot of traffic, and it was hard to find us related to crypto. Like if there weren't, it was back when there weren't quite as many podcasts. Now everyone and their dog has a podcast on crypto, but at the time it was like you're looking at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and you see crypto something, and it's like, oh, I'll listen to that. So I agree that it's pretty generic and it doesn't really help us brand it all, but it's at least a little
That's
bit
also
better
kind of the
than we
joke
had.
about it. It's like when you're doing a keyword search, crypto.
Just change it.
Like that
Just
was the
fix
joke.
it. Like it's going to hurt less if you fix it now. Just 301 redirect. I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Okay. This is good.
When we rebranded from Bitcoin HEX to HEX, we had to not do a full 301 redirect. So when you do a 301, HTTP 301, so the web crawler comes to your site and your site gives it information, right? So the web crawler comes to your site and it says, hey, I'm the web crawler. And then your site goes, okay, what do we want to give the web crawler? And then, if you're an asshole, you could do black hat SEO where you just feed the web crawler stuff that you think will make you rank better. But when they catch you, they're going to ban you, right? Or you could do a 301 redirect, which takes all of your link popularity and all of the energy of inbound links that site has and just send them to your next site that you're rebranding to, which is what I would have done when we went from Bitcoin HEX to HEX, which is just a superior brand. But we couldn't do that because people had sent referral traffic to Bitcoin HEX, and we need to be able to access that cookie, and that cookie can only be accessed from that domain. And so we couldn't 301 redirect it. So there's another type of redirect that we used. The search engines don't like it as much, but it's fine. Like our search engine traffic, when you do search for HEX, they all land on the new site. They don't land on the old site, and we have the best ranking you can get. It's, it worked out wonderfully for us. It'd be so much easier for you guys. You just do a 301 redirect to your new domain name and you're done because you're not using a referral program.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So it's super easy for you guys.
This is great. This is like Richard Hart teaches us how to podcast. It's awesome.
I wrote a book that has all this shit in there. It's a free book. Like you can go to t.me/scivive, like survive through science. You see how to spell that to you. Because even though it's short and pronounceable, it's still not good enough. I don't have to spell HEX, but scivive, I have to spell.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Yeah.
If you go to scivive, well, yo, man, you want a pronounceable dictionary name? Mm-hmm. You can't afford it. And what if you could? We could get shoe.com. Is that going to be? It probably would be a good domain for anything, really. So if you, yeah, I mean, they sell shoes for a lot of money now. So, I mean, you could even put a shoe trading website in there and probably do pretty good. 100x margin shoe trading. People are silly with their sneakers these days. Pay $9,000 for a pair of sneakers,
especially in Los Angeles, man.
They
line up around the block
decay.
for it.
Like in 10 or 20 years, the polyurethane falls apart, and so you have to either keep them vacuum sealed or they will just die over time. They're not like paintings. They outgas. I know too much shit about too much shit. It's funny.
You do, man.
Too much time.
Like a walking thesaurus. I mean, not thesaurus.
Almost.
Encyclopedia.
You just spent a whole lot of time learning about a lot of different things, I guess. That's what you did with the last, I don't know.
Pretty much.
10 years after.
Like if you're going to waste your time. Yeah. Right. I retired in 2003 and then I traveled the world and lived in a hotel for 5 years. And I read too much. I mean, it's how I found out about Bitcoin. But I mean, I was retired in 2003 and Bitcoin didn't come out till 2009. I didn't start mining it until the first quarter of 2011.
So Richard, one of my questions for you is what made you decide to become a personality, a celebrity, a content creator? Like you have a YouTube channel, but what made you step up and decide to do that? I mean,
I had a giant bag of Bitcoin and Ethereum overtook Bitcoin's market cap. I didn't own any Ethereum. So I had to come out and defend my bag. No one else was doing it. So
I see.
Wow.
So this was
it's pitiful. Like
this was about protecting your investment.
Wait, hold on. That's why I came out in crypto, but I already had a YouTube channel before that because I was promoting personal development and self-help because I want to make the world a better place.
I find that interesting because that's a lot about what sci-fi is about, right? And that kind of...
Yeah, that's all that matters. This making more money stuff is not changing my life. I'm not getting better speakers, not getting better TV. My life is not going to change.
You just found you got more attention when you started talking about Bitcoin and crypto and money.
Oh yeah, no one gave a fuck about personal development stuff. Exactly. You're right. I got traction with crypto. I didn't get traction with personal development.
Is that something you want to get back to then?
Yep. That's the next thing.
What spurred
that?
So
the first thing's HEX.
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, man, my whole life, I've when I retired, I volunteered for this charity called the SENS Foundation. And so 40% of people will die of cancer, 40% will die of heart disease. If you cure cancer, people only live 3 years longer. The next thing just kills them because they're both side effects of being old. So if you cure cancer, you get 3 years. If you cure heart attacks, you get 3 years. Those two things kill 80% of people. Steve Jobs is dead as fuck. How much money did he put in early so that 20 years later it would be ready, the technology that he needed to save his life? He's dead. Soon his kids will be dead. His pets are dead. And I'm in the same situation. My dog died. Couldn't do anything for her. Sucked. My grandparents are all dead. Couldn't do anything for them. Barely tried. My parents they're still alive, but for how long? Right? They're not in fabulous shape. And then I'm next. And then everyone I love. And then you're like, okay, well, at what point do you realize you can put up a fight while you're still standing? At some point, you're not going to be standing anymore. At some point, you're going to be fucking laying in that bed, not getting out of it. And you ain't discovering shit, right? You'll be happy to be able to get up to go to the bathroom. So I want to fight the Grim Reaper and put in the fucking good work now while I can. And so for me, it's easier for me to scale and make money and impact the world through crypto and then rotate that into making Sci-Vive more popular and getting other people to invest their money in the right place, which is saving their own asses. We don't need more literature. We don't need faster cars. We don't need better perfumes. We're in diminishing returns in so many places. We're all fucking dying, like literally. Fight. Put up a fight, right? We need more medicine. We need more research. We need more material science. We need more computation. All of those things synergize and work with each other. You'll still get rich, but while you're getting rich, you might save your own fuking life. So for me, crypto. Go ahead.
But why does 3 years matter at the end of the day? Like, why is it worth spending your entire life savings trying to change things just so you can have 3 extra years? I mean, if you're not enjoying the moment,
that's a great point. Why would you waste your time on something that can only give you 3 years? Why wouldn't you spend the same time on something that give you 30? That's my point. Is that once people realize that curing cancer and curing heart disease are just band-aids, and you have to cure the regenerative medicine that prevents the pathology that causes those things, then you don't get just 3 years. You get 30 or 300. And then you say, oh, what if I get bored? And what if dictators never die? And what if we run out of space? And what if we run out of energy? And I've got all of those points shit on, and I've shit on them for decades. None of those points hold any fucking water. I'll crush all of them. So, like, I've already thought all of this stuff out.
Hypothetically, you'll crush them all. But at the end of the day, like, none of us know.
Let's go. Bring your arguments, bro. Let's go.
Well, my argument is, are you happy right now? My argument is, are you so happy right now that you feel you need to live an extra 100 years? Is your life so amazing that you want to make sure it extends 100 years?
You're framing the question with a presupposition in it, which is that your value system and beliefs for the world require that in order to do something, some other thing must happen. So you're presupposing there has to be a reason to do it. I could take the same question. Not at all.
I'm just asking you a basic question. Are you happy? Are you happy right now? And the reason why you want to live another 100 years is because you're happy right now. It's a basic question. Are you happy? If you're not happy, then why would you want to live an extra 100 years?
Happiness. I am not focused on happiness. Most people are actually not focused on happiness. You are not supposed to be focused on happiness. That's not how happiness works.
That's
Happiness
literally
is a
the
staircase.
kind of the purpose of life is to feel joy in your heart.
Well,
I mean, that's what we all try to achieve.
But then when I go and look
we
at
try to
your
do it
life-
through money. We try to do it through hot women. We try to do it through cars. We
you're
try to
mixing-
do it through good
no,
clothes.
you can't-
People
you
are
can't
trying to
mix all
feel
those into
something in
happiness.
their heart.
Okay. Yes. I agree with that. People are trying to fulfill their emotional needs, and you have created a blanket word that contains all of those needs, and you call it happiness. So if you use the word happiness as a suitcase term to envelop all other emotions that people crave, then yes, by your definition, we are all looking for happiness. But if you look at it with nuance and resolution, and you say lust is different than contentment, is different than joy, is different than discovery, is different than going and seeing a scary movie. These are all exhilarating, pleasurable experiences that people choose to rotate through, and they're not happiness, right?
Well,
So
you
here's how
said
happiness
joy.
is actually supposed to work.
You
they're
said
all
joy.
different,
You
and
said
you're supposed to rotate
we're not
through
supposed
them.
to have joy in our lives. Like that's not the goal
What?
of life is to have joy.
What?
That's what you said.
Listen, it's very simple. All human beings have emotional desires, okay? Different human. So I'll give you the Tony Robbins system. I think I invented a better one, but I'm just going to give you the Tony Robbins one because it's easier.
This is
okay?
good.
Here's what people need. They have a need for certainty and they have a need for variety, and those two things fight each other, and it's a paradox and creates conflict, okay? In this conversation I'm having with you right now, if I saw a piece of the ceiling fall down right next to me and another piece fall down right next to me, it would be very hard for me to talk to you because I would worry that that might fall on me. You see? And so we
Sure.
have to have certainty to operate. We also have to have uncertainty. If you watch the same movie every time, you're going to be a sad motherfucker. If you eat the same food all the time, not exactly happy, same song all the time, not loving it. So we have a need for certainty and we have a need for variety, and they fight each other. Now, who you are as a human being puts these orders in a different, puts these desires in a different order, and then that changes your lifestyle as a human being. So if you're more certainty oriented, you may love driving a larger vehicle, making sure you wear a seatbelt, driving the speed limit, not skydiving. Someone else will do that same shit, but also skydive because they have adventure and uncertainty higher up on their list. So let me give you the other needs. There's only 6 of them, and only 4 of them are truly legit. 2 are kind of like, maybe. So certainty and variety, easy one. Let's go on the next one. Connection and significance. If a person comes to you on the street and they say, hey man, I'm really out of money. My car ran out of gas. Can you give me some money? That's connection, right? You feel for that guy. But do you feel he's important? No, he needs something from you. So he connected with you and lost significance. Okay, let's take the opposite. Boiler Room, the movie. Ben Affleck walks in, throws his Ferrari keys on the table. I'm 26 years old and I'm a motherfucking millionaire and I love the way it sounds. And there's the keys to my Ferrari, right? And what happens? Becomes significant, but everyone hates that motherfucker. They remove the connection, right? So you've got another paradoxical balance where people need both, but they fight each other. So we've got certainty and variety, they fight. We've got significance and connection, they fight. And everyone has them on a different order. Some people are power gods. Oh, look, he's got a fist-crushing money necklace. He's got his own logo and golden diamonds on his neck. How absurd, right? So this is obviously significance-driven, right? But then I point to it and I say, look how obviously needy that is. Well, that's connection-driven. Okay, well, which way is it going to go? How's the coin going to flip? I just showed you both sides, right? So the last 2 needs, so those first 4 you call the needs of the personality. The last 2 you would call the needs of the spirit, and these would be growth and contribution. And the more time you spend growing and contributing, there's no paradox. They reinforce each other. They get along with everything else. It's a great place to live there if you can. I'm not totally sure those are really there, but I'm okay with it. I'm like, all right, so be it. I mean, if you were in the business of selling self-help books, it sure would be awesome if the 2 best needs also just happen to sell a lot of books, right? So you got to really evaluate whether you really think those are there. I can tell you that belief system in human needs psychology, it's called the 6 human needs psychology. It is superior to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is totally unactionable, totally useless. Like this system I just taught you, if you think about why people smoke, well, one, if anything meets 3 needs at a level 5 or higher, it becomes addiction. So if you smoke and you get to connect with yourself, you get to stop whatever you're doing that you didn't want to do anymore and move somewhere else to do the smoking. So you get the variety. You get the connection with yourself to just do something and control your breathing and do something you're used to, a pattern. You also can look cool if you want, smoke it different ways, right? And I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but I've seen people on ads that look pretty cool doing it, right? Even though they're killing themselves, it does look cool. What else? It lets you spend time with other people. So it gives you connection. It gives you significance. It gives you variety. Maybe it gives you certainty. Maybe the chemical feel does it. And obviously that's going to be a very hard addiction to break. Well, once you realize all those side benefits, when you try and replace that habit with a better, empowering one, you realize you've got to meet those same needs at the same level or higher, or the old one will come back. So you got to see what habits are really doing it. It's the same thing with people that have cancer. They get cancer and then their family starts actually taking their calls for the first time in 10 or 20 years. And they start actually coming to see them. And now they've got a side reason for that cancer to stick around. And what you'll find is that some people that have mental problems or health problems get so much side benefit from having the problem that it becomes their identity, and they hold on to that problem because of all the other benefits that they get. And you would never think someone would do that, but in fact, they do. So let's talk about happiness, right? Happiness wasn't on that fucking list, if you noticed. In my belief system, happiness is someplace that as soon as you get there, it's just like ejaculating, right? You come, feels good, you get maybe, I've studied ejaculation and female orgasm way longer than most people would consider reasonable. Okay. You can chart it on a chart, right? So there seems to be like 2 types of orgasms, type A and B. And one happens at steady repetition, and one happens with pulse, longer wait, pulse, longer wait, pulse, longer wait. You get in between, like some people have as low as 4, some people have as high as about 10 staggered, and then 4 randoms after. You can, next time you come, when you start counting your squirts, you'll remember me for the rest of your life. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. If you lived in that state, you would not be a productive human being. That state of ecstasy and joy and bliss is supposed to be a limited time thing. You are not supposed to live there. You're supposed to visit there, and it's supposed to be awesome, but then you're supposed to get up and leave the restaurant and go eat somewhere else. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Happiness is not someplace you're supposed to live all the time. Contentment might be, but ecstatic joy is not that productive a place for people to live. And if you want to see where hunting that type of lifestyle goes, the all-star global champions of that are the monks in Tibet. And they're getting living shit kicked out of them by the Chinese who don't buy into that belief system and are taking their land, and soon they won't have any left. And they won't have any culture left either. And they'll be lucky if they're not fucking extinct. So, being happy and hunting for joy and taking a happy pill and sitting around thinking about how wonderful everything is that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But your neighbor's going to take all your shit and fuck your girl. So I hope you're happy about that shit. Like, there's a place for happiness.
So two things in rebuttal. One is you're choosing to define what happiness is for everybody else. So you
obviously
threw out a bunch of different words: content, joy, all these different words that some people are just going to say, I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to live a happy life where I'm not like constantly fucking pissed off and hate everybody and want to kill my fucking boss and want to kill everybody on the road and this and that. And they're going to call that happy, or they're going to call it joy, or they're going to call it content, or they're going to call it whatever it is, where they don't feel this never-ending desire to fill the empty void inside of their fucking heart. That's it.
Right, but that's another presupposition that everyone
whatever
has
you want to call that. But that's the thing is, so if you're gonna sit there and get super esoteric and say, that's not right because you're not using the proper word, or blah blah. It gets very difficult to have a conversation about what that is.
One, whoever uses the more specific word wins, for sure. Right? It's like, would you rather measure with inches or miles? Okay, how big's your dick? Well, everyone's got a mile-long dick in your world. Okay, well, you need to use more specific, smaller measurements to create detail and nuance to tell one thing from another, right? So the smaller word always wins.
You do. I don't care. If somebody tells me they're happy, I could fucking care less. I'm like, good for you. Great. You do. I personally don't.
And create lasting change for people, which is why I know all of this bullshit that I know, is because I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn it. And so now I use a different vocabulary to do it. So there's the world. So I'll give you a neurolinguistic programming overview. There's the world, and then we map the world, and the map is not the territory. Okay. So two people can have the same experience and have wildly different feelings about that experience. A person that has uncertainty and adventure up at the top of their list, might really enjoy a roller coaster. And the same, a person that has, certainty at the top of the list, they might not enjoy it. Same roller coaster, both humans, but different values and beliefs in a different order, right? Some person's father drinks and beats them. He has kids. He beats and drinks them. You interview him, you ask, why'd you do that? Well, how else could I have turned out any differently? Look at my father. He has a twin brother. You go interview the twin brother, doesn't beat his kids. Why don't you beat your kids? Look at my father. How else could I have turned out? I would never do what he did. Same event, same genetics, totally different outcomes because they have a different map of the world in their head. They have a different set of beliefs. And we have situation-specific beliefs that are just like, just in this one spot, I believe this way. So if you want to change how people feel, you can change 3 things to do it. Their physiology, right? Like I could use better posture. I'll look stronger. I'll have better breathing, right? But it takes practice to do it. I can do it. And once I'm mindful of it, right? And if I did this for long enough, I would do it more commonly. You can change their physiology. You can change their language, give them empowering speech, which is also empowering patterns of focus. And so focus, physiology, and language. So focus is like the questions you ask. So you say, how are you filling that giant hole in your soul? You've presupposed there's a giant hole. Now your brain believes there's one, whether there isn't or not. What if I say to you, how do you not break down and cry with all the overwhelming joy that's always available to you in the world? And your brain will answer the question. Whether there really is overwhelming joy there or not, your brain follows whatever I say. So if I say, listen, the next time you come, you're going to count how many times. Watch. So this is some of the NLP kind of magic trainer tricks you can use, which I use like extremely rarely, but I don't know, they're fun. Maybe I should do them more often. So my point is, if you want to make people happier, you will get much greater happiness out of them by changing their physiology, changing their patterns of focus, changing their language, changing their beliefs, and empowering those beliefs, and repeating the behavior to get them to be that way more often than you ever will by changing how much money they have, who their friends are, where they live. That shit doesn't matter if it doesn't get through their filter and map of the world into their brain, right? So start with the human.
Yeah, because technically you can't change anything. They have to want to change themselves. They have to come to you and say, I would like some tools to change. And you say, okay,
you can change people
tools.
in the moment.
But like,
comedy works, comedians work. A comedian can make you laugh whether you want to or not, but he is going to get off stage and then you will be with yourself. And so, like, for instance, I've had terrible things happen to me in my past. And I haven't spent the time to go reprogram their meanings. And so if I think about them long enough, I will be an unhappy motherfucker, right? Did you buy Bitcoin when it was $1? No. Okay, well, you could be unhappy if you wanted to. You sell 20K? No, you could be unhappy if you wanted to. Did you buy Amazon? Right, I could give you like a million lists to be unhappy. You could be pissed off if you wanted to.
They're all investments.
Or I could say, everyone fucked it up. You know how much Bill Gates loses every day? How much software have you stolen from Bill Gates? I mean, you probably fucked Bill Gates up. You probably stole a shitload of his software, right? And if you didn't, you know people that did. But is he sitting there focused on that shit? No, he's focused on the rest of the world and fixing it. He's not focused on himself. So anyway, so the point is, happiness is someplace you should go. I am a happy person when I'm doing happy shit. I'm right now in this phase of my life, interest with performance. I took 15 years off and I saw where that went. I lived in a hotel and traveled the whole fucking world and wasted a decade of my life. Okay, I'm not interested in that shit. Right? I want to make a medical impact. I want to make a social impact. I want to make the world a better fucking place and live in it and enjoy it. Like that's where I'm at. And sitting around and just fucking watching other people play video games or playing them yourself I did that shit for 10 years. I'm not interested in that anymore. So not only I've done the happiness thing, man. I know how to do it. It's like I'm not free of joy. Like I am focused on something else right now. And if I thought joy would get me there quicker, I would do more joy.
Okay, so then I guess the lead into HEX is you've openly said it's just a pump coin, and so
I've openly said it's designed to go up faster and higher with
designed
less
to
dips.
pump.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It also just happens a bunch of world-changing, amazing, first of its kind features to facilitate that goal.
Let's talk about
So-
those because we don't. I
Okay.
mean, I hear about its pumpermentals, so to speak,
Sure.
but I want to know exactly what it's going to change in.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
what
So
you think
so
is
what's
gonna
wrong with
Usability.
crypto? Sure. Well, what's wrong with crypto? One, no one uses
slow
it.
and inconvenient. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And how many? It's been in existence for over 10 years, and it has less than 2.8 million wallets with let's call it 2.86 million wallets with over $1,000 in them. That's it.
Are you talking Bitcoin right
Yes, the most widely adopted,
Okay.
highest value. You could say most secure, although I don't think it is, and I'll explain why. That crypto has 2.86 million wallets with over $1,000 in them. It's existed for 10 years. I think if you go down, well, I'll just look it up real quick. So if you want to look these numbers up, just go to Google and type in Bitcoin rich list and click the first link, which is bitinfocharts.com. And here's a chart of all the distribution of Bitcoin coins. So let's look at the first thing, right? Coins over, wallets over 1,000 coins have a third of all coins, 26.97%. No, more, 42%, sorry, 41.82%. So 40% of the entire currency is held by whales. Now, the whales are actually even bigger than you think because most people have more than one address. These are just addresses, right? So there's literally 100, there's 2,042 addresses with over 1,000 coins in them, and they hold over 42% of all Bitcoin.
So you're saying that Bitcoin is not very centralized. It's not very decentralized.
Well, I'm going to speak very specifically with you because since we're doing this, since you guys don't even have faces, it's just me. You don't have to. We're going to do this the way I want to do it, and it's accurate. I did nice and happy and vague with John McAfee a couple hours ago, and that was fun because I didn't want it to get clunky. But I'm going to get clunky with you guys, and we're going to get fucking specific because I don't care how long it goes. Right? I got as many hours as you guys can stay awake.
Sounds good. We like learning.
Yeah. So if you care about decentralization, stop, because it's a means, not an end. Decentralization is only a means for censorship resistance. It doesn't always work. If all of the distributed parties tend to be assholes anyway, then they just fuck up the thing anyway, right? So the same way that we improve Bitcoin by agreeing on a consensus change, like, hey, we're going to turn on SegWit, is the same way that we would destroy Bitcoin or fuck it up, like, hey, we're not going to cut the miner payout in half this year. We just don't feel like it. Same exact method. Social consensus. Social consensus is what allows Bitcoin to improve, which becomes less likely because it's harder to get consensus of any form as the stakeholders become wider and more varied. When's the last time you talked to a Chinese guy that's a miner? I bet you don't. I bet you don't for a long fucking time because they just don't talk to anybody. They don't speak English and they can't access Twitter and they can't access YouTube. So how the fuck are they going to talk to you? Get around the government Great Wall of China to access, like I've got a Chinese version of my website that I'm having to like work really hard to get visible in China because of their firewall. You know, people don't realize how big of a fuck. I've got a Telegram group and one of my Chinese guys that, is helping translate everything and kick a lot of ass. His fucking messages get deleted by a bot. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go look at the bot and there's a fucking authorized Telegram bot that just straight up deletes his messages. I'm like, Jesus Christ. They're not fucking around over there. They're really doing the censorship thing. He uploaded a video, didn't get approved. Removed the darknet sentences, removed that shit, the anonymity stuff, got approved. So there's human beings in China making sure that what you see is what they want you to see. And you will not see what they don't want you to see. So like it's a real deal and it's affecting me. And it's affecting everyone. And I was always a little bit mean to the Chinese people because I'm like, hey, I'm out here talking every day and you guys won't talk back. It never fucking occurred to me. They can't. They can't see the fucking website. They can't access Twitter.
So how did you not know that after traveling the world for 15 years?
Because I never visited mainland China.
That's been going on since Tiananmen Square.
Oh, okay.
Bro, I've been in Macau and fucking Hong Kong. And I was like, okay, well, China doesn't seem that bad.
Well, hold on.
Still don't seem that bad.
Richard, I didn't mean to break your stream. You were talking about what Bitcoin doesn't do well and what it does do well, and you brought up the distributed properties.
Sure.
So
it's okay. So my point is, when I show you this chart that only 2,000 addresses hold 2% of all the coins, and since people have more than one address, usually it's maybe really 1,000 fucking guys there, right? You shouldn't actually care about that, because that particular type of centralization does not affect the censorship resistant properties of the network. Okay. So yes, this sucks for you because they're going to get richer. And if you look at the chart over the years, they have, and you're not going to get richer, right? Like people think Bitcoin is going to change the whole world because we're going to make poor people rich. That shit doesn't make any sense. You buy Bitcoin with money, and they don't have any money, so they don't have any fucking Bitcoin. And if they do find a tiny little bit of money, the tiny little bit of fucking Bitcoin they're going to buy, well, I'm glad you make some mad gains on it. Maybe. I hope it didn't go down 85% when you needed it. Poor people aren't high risk capital fucking investors. Poor people need their money fucking now. They need more than what they have. They don't have 3-year time horizons to fucking hope it works out, which is what you've needed to always be cash piles from Bitcoin. So
then how is HEX fixing that problem?
Right. When I got into Bitcoin, it was free. That's how they onboarded me. And then they got my money. They gave me something free with the mining, and then they got my money. I fell for the freemium. We have freemium. Bitcoin doesn't have freemium anymore. If you want HEX, you get it for free by being a Bitcoin holder. A lot of people have Bitcoin, right?
A lot of rich people have Bitcoin.
Yeah.
A lot of rich people have Bitcoin.
To go back to what you said, no poor people have Bitcoin because they can't.
Yeah, pretty much not. Like Roger Ver was a millionaire when he bought into Bitcoin. I was a millionaire when I bought into Bitcoin. And everyone else is like, we're going to change the fucking world. I'm like, yo, Roger and I got more coins than all you fucking idiots. And it's because we were rich to start with. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you got in last. Like, and now you got in last and broke. How the fuck do you think this is fixing social inequality or the Gini coefficient? It's not. But that's okay because the shit's still going up. And every time I stream, it goes up more. So like when I tell people the truth about blockchain, they fucking hate it because they want to live in their bubble and only hear good things.
Oh, that's why
I'm going to tell you the truth.
Actually hate our podcast is we try to talk about those truths.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, you guys
we
are probably
get so much shit for talking about those truths.
People do not want truth, bro. Yeah, it's betaware that's lost people's money and may work well one day, and if it ever does work well, it'll work well for every crypto. We all use the same fucking like BIP39 based addressing system.
So you figured out a way to onboard people by giving them free
crypto. How do we onboard people? Right. We give them free crypto the same way I got onboarded.
So people with Bitcoin are going to get free HEX. That's cool.
Exactly.
It's not going to be.
And we've got a referral program. Tesla's got a referral program. Amazon's got a referral program. Every fucking Ponzi scheme's got a referral program. Everybody's got a referral program. Does Bitcoin have a referral program? Nope. Okay. Well, we have one. Pays 20%. You guys should get a link. You want to know how easy it is to make a link? hex.win/R equals your fucking Ethereum address, and you're done. There's no sign up. It's that easy. You get 20%. Somebody claims, you get 20%.
We'll put that in the show notes, people.
Yeah, we'll have a link.
And they get 10% more for using your fucking link. So they should be happy that you gave it to them, right? And the currency just inflates to pay both you guys. You can double dip them, which I think is really cool. You can get them to free claim with Bitcoin, and then turn it into Ethereum, and then send it to the adoption amplifier to then turn it into HEX. And then you got the 20% off their claim, and you got the 20% off of their joining the adoption amplifier. So it ends up of about 40%.
I gotta say, man, like I was listening to your David interview, and I'm surprised you didn't have a heart attack because you seem so annoyed.
Oh, that guy was such an idiot.
I will say that what you just said really fast. I've been following Bitcoin and all the technology for the last 3 years. And what you said, I was just like, I'm going to need to see that like 3 more times or hear it 3 more times. Just because you're going so fast. And I think you think everybody's following you.
My bad.
And I think
you're right.
Like you're in desperate need of an editor.
You're right,
desperate need of an editor.
You must get frustrated. You must get frustrated with how slow everyone thinks and how stupid everyone is.
No, man. Truthfully, I don't. It takes a lot to get me there.
Oh, that Dave guy almost got you there. Man.
No, No, not even. Well, I was covering my face a lot. When I start doing this shit, it's like
Michael.
Yeah, I saw you. Like,
maybe.
Michael and I are going to see if we can get you there today. Let's just see. We got 4 hours to get Richard Hart as pissed off as possible.
So here's how you free claim.
No, we're trying to get him healthier. We're not trying to get him worse. So
let's talk about.
We want to help. See, our goal is to help poor people.
I'm here to cure cancer.
If you have something,
we're all poor some way, right? I could use some more.
Oh God, give it a rest. Let's move on. I don't want to hear your magic crystal shit.
Just go watch Tony Robbins. He does this. He's going to tell you the exact same shit I just told you. He'll be charging you a little extra. Just read the book. Go watch the Netflix show, man.
All right. So
literally, just go watch Night Guru.
Here's the thing. So I get it. HEX is awesome. It's going to pump, and a lot of people who own Bitcoin are going to make a lot of money. What does it look like after that? Is there an adoption to this? Is there a use for it?
Yes.
Is there going to be some sort of S curve where it's going to flatten out and it's going to be ubiquitous?
Yep. All of that. That's all true. Everything you guys just said is true. So what makes the price of a cryptocurrency go up? Is it adoption? Nope. Well, why not? Because none of this shit has any adoption. Is it darknet? Nope. Why? Because you can go on the darknet and see how much fucking feedback people are getting and calculate what percentage of feedback they get on transactions and calculate their net sales or look at their fucking wallet addresses and you can see how much the darknets are making. It ain't darknet. All of crypto is speculation.
It's all Tether. Speculation. It's all Tether. That's it right now, right?
You know what else is speculation? Coca-Cola and Pepsi and your house and software and everything's speculation now. So it's not like you can transcend that paradigm if it gives you a bad taste in your mouth. If you don't like everything being speculation, you're going to need to become a communist and fucking move somewhere where capitalism isn't. Because in the world we live in, everything has been tokenized and monetized. Everything. Your attention span, your consciousness, your minutes on site, clicking and refreshing forever, like a fucking pigeon, right? All that shit. It's all monetized now, right? So you can't even transcend that paradigm, even if you fucking wanted to. You try and move to Israel and live in a kibbutz or something. Maybe that'll work. Saying that Bitcoin is just speculation, it's not actually an insult. That's fine, right? So
I think that's what
people buy Coca-Cola.
What it is.
Yeah, that's what I like about
people who buy Coca-Cola stock aren't in love with sugar drinks. Like,
I feel like you're very transparent.
I heard that you love my stream. Go ahead. Don't let me cut you off, please.
No, I just said that's one of the things that I like about your streams is that you're very transparent about like, hey, this is a pyramid. That's okay. Let's keep moving. Like, I think that's cool.
It's not even a pyramid. So
well, I mean, go ahead.
I have the most cogent definition of these terms that I have found, and I hope they become more popular because I think I did a good job packaging.
Doesn't everybody think that, Richard?
Yeah. I hope not, because most people are stupid.
I have the most cogent definition of this word.
No,
I'm taking ownership of it.
No, I'm a domain expert in this space, and I get to actually invent new words and popularize them.
You need your own dictionary, the richardhart.win
I've only popularized
dictionary.
2 or 3 fucking words. Let me give you the couple words I've got.
You need an editor. That's going to be our tagline. Richard Hart needs an editor.
Book for the slow people by Richard Hart.
No, for the normal people. It's like
exactly.
You've just been thinking about this so long, and you're introducing stuff that people may have maybe only thought about, 25% of the day, and you're dedicating 75% of your day because you're rich and you're living in your
pretty much in
your Richard Hart cave, and that's great.
Well, yeah, I had a good head start. Like I had a good education and good genes and shit, and I got lucky, and I just didn't waste it.
I hope you have lots of friends too. I hope you've made lots of friends over the years.
If you're really social, JJ, you can have as many friends as you want.
Friends too.
if you're really social, you can have as many friends as you want. So I have as many friends as I want, basically, right? If you're fun, and
let's not go down that. That seems like a gotcha thing right there.
Let's get back to HEX. Let's talk about the S curve.
I'm old and I have big tits. I don't mind. Like I know what I am. I know exactly what I am, dude.
Yeah, well, we love your tits.
I don't mind. Thank you. I saw someone made a GIF today of breast pumps on me. I was like, that's pretty funny. I don't give a fuck. Like,
wow.
It's like whatever.
That's another thing I love about your streams is you really don't give a fuck except doing streams, which is kind of all right.
I barely ever stream. Like I almost never ever stream. I only stream when people ask me to. McAfee put out a fucking tweet, and he's like, "Yo, anybody that wants to do an interview, fucking email my wife." I'm like, "All right, what's up?" And that's it. Like I've reached out to like maybe two or three people total ever to do a stream.
I watched a bit
but
of
once
that
HEX
stream
comes out, I'll do it much more.
this morning. It was pretty cool. It was neat to see how you guys disagreed on so much of stuff, like how McAfee really believes in, crypto is going to change the government and give power back to the people. And like, you know, that's
it doesn't
what
make any sense
this
to me.
podcast from the beginning has been about. Like, that's not gonna work. That's not.
No, the banks, like, oh, you're gonna disrupt the banks. Well, what would you do if I told you the banks own more of this shit than you do? Now, how do you feel?
Exactly.
And
they're mining and have huge mining farms. You know, it's just
right?
They're not going to
be happy that this price keeps going up and is likely to continue to do so. But you don't have to fucking lie about the project, right? And I see so many people do that. And I fucking hate it. Like, just tell the fucking truth.
I mean, do you think people like McAfee though is like he's doing it because he wants the attention. He knows that it can't possibly
maybe.
Or is he just delusional?
I think look, some people just haven't figured it. I mean, some people, they get in and they think everything's going to change, and then they stay long enough to get jaded, and then they see how it really is. And he just may have he might be new enough to this that he hasn't reached the jaded phase yet. Where you're like, yo, actually. I
mean, it just seems from a basic economic standpoint, if you know anything about economics, it's physically impossible for it to work the way the maximalists say it's going to work.
We've talked to a lot of...
It might work.
Yeah.
It can work. It's just, you have to be willing to make some trade-offs.
As a store of value or as a peer-to-peer and
it can work as all that. It could work. It could totally take over everything. It truly, really could totally take over everything. It just needs to do some things, right? So let's look at things that we could do to fix... So we've got so many tangents to get on here. Let me wrap up some of these other. Let me close some of these other.
I still want to know what this S curve of adoption looks like for HEX. So let's.
Everything has an S curve. Absolutely, totally, everything in the universe has an S curve because we have a limited amount of energy that comes from the sun. So I don't give a fuck what type of fancy magical bullshit math you've done that makes you think something goes up forever. I can tell you that we've got limited output from the sun, and therefore you will reach a fucking local, and you could even consider it global maxima on whatever you're charting. So if there's not an S top to the top of what you're charting, you're fucking lying, right? Or it could just take so many years to reach it that you don't care about it because you're dead.
Or it'll still just be a spike and a drop. So what's HEX going to look like in 5 years?
You don't get those. I can tell you what it's designed to look like. I don't know what it will look like.
What is it designed? What do you want it to look like?
So currencies go up because more people are buying than selling. They go up easier if there's a bullshit reason that people barely understand. So every Ponzi scheme that comes out, the bullshit reason they give you is arbitrage. BitConnect was arbitrage. You give us your real Bitcoin, we give you a shit coin that isn't worth anything anywhere and isn't traded anywhere. And then we give you this fake bot that pretends to make profit by doing arbitrage, which is just a fancy word that you can't understand for some reason. And then, we take money from people and we take new money in and we give it to the old people. We take new money in, we give it to the old people. But then we gave the old people so much money that there ain't none left to give them. And then you got to collapse. That's what a Ponzi is. So a Ponzi is when you make promises to make returns on investments that you can't possibly make. And then you run out of money paying those. And you have to just exit scam when you decide to break the promise. Is how that works, right? It's different from a pyramid. The pyramid operates by putting the maximum number or an absurdly large number of counterparties in the middle of the end user and the product or service. So here's your end user, here's your product or service, and then here's a bunch of fucking leeches that just fucking sit there and want paid forever because they introduced you guys. That's not an efficient business model. So that's the reason pyramids suck, because a bunch of assholes just sit around doing nothing, making money off of people that they introduced a very long time ago, right? That'd be like someone introducing you to your girlfriend and expecting a blowjob every once in a while. Yo, man, I introduced you to her, like, it's just fair, right? You're in my matrix. You're in my pyramid. You're my downline.
I get 10% of that shit. I get 10% of that ass every month.
I'm going to need 4 pumps.
It all comes back to ejaculating with you, it seems. It's like,
I know. I'm very counting the ejaculations.
You'll see, man.
Richard Hart counts your ejaculations.
It may be known that November, but soon it'll be December for you boys. So that's the pyramid and a Ponzi have different properties. You can combine them, but they're different attributes.
Sure.
Now, what most people are calling pyramids and what most people are calling bubbles, what most people are calling pyramids and Ponzi's are really just bubbles. Okay. Amazon stock went down 95% in the 2000s. It is now 50% of all internet sales in America. Was that a Ponzi? Nope. Was it a pyramid? Nope. Was it a bubble? Yes. It fucking was a bubble. Okay. Now, whose fault and problem is a bubble? The humans, not the goddamn company, not the software, right? If I design some really kick-ass software that pumps, and then everyone goes, holy shit, first they have to go, yo, we don't really care. Then I get you a nice tick on the chart there at the bottom. And then they go, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then you get your fucking hockey stick, right? And then they go, how come no one else is buying? Ah! And then you get the death drop, right? You get this, believe it or not, it's usually like staircase up, elevator down. But in crypto, it's like straight line fucking up and then straight line down, right? Yep. You cannot stop people from doing that shit. It is a human problem. Overvaluation and bubbles are the problem of the fucking speculators. You cannot change the properties of whatever the fuck the instrument is to prevent that. Or I guess in theory you might be able to, but why?
No, it's a natural phenomenon.
It's not necessarily a human thing. It's a male thing, because we've seen in some of the places that we're able to survive, it was female driven businesses that were like, we're not going to get caught up in whose dick is bigger because we don't have dicks. And they didn't, know, and so
it's different psychology.
The ones that survived in Iceland were the ones that were run by women.
Ain't many girls in crypto. Ain't many. There's some. I like it when they say hi. It's nice. They're fun to hang out with. But I got to tell you, there ain't many statistically. My viewership used to be like less than 1% female. Now, I think maybe it's like 5% or something. I could take a look. Actually, we'll take a look.
HEX is designed to bubble and then flatten out.
Stay bubbled.
Flatten out. Stabilize.
Just stay bubbled. Yeah. So here's how we do. No one minds up volatility. They mind down volatility. How do you? So people.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay bubbled. If you have a bunch of people. God, this thing is so good. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Okay.
Wait, are we talking about?
Hold on. We're gonna pause. We're gonna pause for a minute and let
I was
Richard
gonna say, are we talking about
second.
ejaculating again?
The price will ejaculate. Listen to this shit. It's so good. In a Ponzi scheme, they offer you returns that they can't give you. Okay? They offer you like 1% a week or 10% a month. Okay? So I think BitConnect was 1% a week, and I think Plus Token was 10% a month. Plus Token owns 1% of all Bitcoin. They have 200,000 coins from a Ponzi scheme that they operated for less than 2 years. They are the people that bought the 3,000 bottom. They are the 3,000 bottom. They're also the 14K top. When their founders got arrested, it was the 14K top. They were the top when they got arrested. Okay?
Yeah.
So how are they able to do that? They have a referral program, and they promise you insane gains. And they have a new token with no previous bag holders selling into it, holding the price down. That's how they do it. What does HEX have? HEX has a referral program. HEX promises you mad gains in HEX. And let's compare the mad gains. Can we promise you 1% a month? Nope, that's not how it works. But we can promise you something better. All of the unclaimed coins go to the people who stake. And they get multiplied by adoption bonuses. So if 50% of people claim, they get the payment increased by 50%. If 50% of the coin mass claims, they get the payments increased by 50%. So of all the unclaimed coins, you get even more if more people claim after you, right? So you're getting the unclaimed coins. If you just gave people unclaimed coins, they wouldn't fucking tell anybody. They'd be like, yo, I'm going to get all the coins myself. We're going to keep the shit secret, which would murder the USD price, which matters the most. But they don't think that far. They just want a bigger stack of a smaller pie, and they keep it a fucking secret. And then the project fails. So how do we counterbalance that? We tell them, look, the more people that claim, we're going to pay you even fucking bigger, right? We're going to amplify how much you make as an early guy because they're getting in after you, right? So the adoption bonuses.
So really fast, who's we? Who's we?
The stakers. What do you mean we?
Okay.
The staker. So
Well, you said we're going to pay you more.
right. The smart contract, the game theory, the uneditable, audited 3 times by 2 entities, one economics audit by a mathematician. So chain security that's done a couple $2 billion of value secured through their audits. They're tied for top 2 auditors.
Okay, no, I believe you about the audits because
Okay.
I've been following. So like we're gonna operate from moving forward that the audits are legit and you've got them done and you're just waiting to do what you're thinking. So let's you don't need to convince us of that. I'm just gonna take your word for it because right now there's no way to prove not. But so let's get back to the very, very basics. Is what's the starting amount? Is there going to be inflate? Or is it going to keep growing? Is it going to be fixed? Is it going to so where are these coins actually coming from? Are you just producing? Are you pre-mining everything and then giving them out to everybody? And so let's start from there.
Okay, but just so you know, we are cutting off that thread about the pumpamentals with the difference between promising someone 10% and what we promise, which is a much larger number.
Oh,
we promise a much larger
we might
number.
get back to it because I'd rather start.
Sure.
I feel like we kind of jumped into one aspect of it without
I'll
kind of giving
I'll
the
just
listeners
summarize
the
that
base,
thread as
the base of
you will mathematically see that if no one else takes after you, you will make a fuckload higher percent than 10. You'll make hundreds of percent, right? It will be a very large number of percent.
Based in coins, not in somebody giving you cash.
Right. So I can explain to you design parameters and not be a security. I'm just explaining software to you, right? If I start promising USD gains, I'm not a financial advisor, right? So I have no fucking idea who's going to buy or how much they're going to buy. I have no idea. I don't know any of those things. I know the system parameters that are designed to have certain effects, and I can explain those to you. It's very likely that the effects will work.
Well, just really fast for our listeners, the reason why he's not saying we're going to give you 10% money in USD is because then it becomes a security and that is technically illegal, right? To do that?
It would require you in many jurisdictions to register as a security or investment contract. You can still make those types of promises to friends and family up to a certain number, up to a certain dollar figure, depending on where you live. But if you're going to speak to the public at scale and promise people, basically the definition of a security, you can Google it's the Howey test, and it is, do people give money to a pool with the expectation of profit solely from the effort of others? That's the rule. Mm-hmm. And in our system, we're not an airdrop. We don't have any coins to give you. You mint your own coins. When you end your stake, you mint your own reward, just like Bitcoin. So if you're a Bitcoin miner, who gives you the coins? You give yourself the fucking coins because you do computation. And when your computation meets the rules of the network, you make your own coins. And everyone else looks at your proof and goes, yeah, it's cool. He made those coins. They're legit. HEX is the same way. We just have to have different network rules. We have the same network rules Bitcoin has.
Let's get to the basics really fast because you're going a mile a minute, and
you get 10,000. You get 10,000 HEX per Bitcoin.
Let's say I have. Okay, so I have a Bitcoin, and I'm going to do it.
You have one Bitcoin.
If a billion people, let's just say a billion people have one Bitcoin each, even though that's mathematically impossible. Let's say a billion people do. Every single one of those billion people would get the same exact amount of HEX.
If they chose
that would be
to.
it, right? You wouldn't be creating
They have to
any more
perform the
HEX.
computation. So I'll just explain this part to you from the beginning. There is inert code sitting. So in Bitcoin, the code sits in the nodes, right? It lives on GitHub at Bitcoin, github.com/Bitcoin or whatever. I don't remember the URL exactly. And then that's where the code lives. And then people take that code and compile it into binaries and then run it on their servers. And that is what is the Bitcoin network. It's that code turned into EXEs that people can run on their computers. That is what the Bitcoin network is. Now, when they upgrade that code, sometimes it creates bugs and it fucks the network up. Right? In our system, our code does not live on the GitHub that people keep updating the network with. Our code lives in a smart contract that is uneditable. No one can change it. And it lives on the blockchain. So Bitcoin consensus code lives in GitHub and then gets turned into EXEs and then run on computers. Our consensus code lives in an immutable smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. And that is what people are executing. You see? So we store our code in a better
So it runs
location.
on Ethereum.
Exactly.
In essence.
Exactly. And because of that, we don't have the same type of bugs because we can't get an accidental consensus bug improving the network. So the last inflation bug that let people print as many free Bitcoins as they wanted, which was narrowly avoided by a Bitcoin Cash developer discovering it and telling everyone about it instead of using it. I mean, maybe.
We don't know. What
do you mean?
There could be an extra million Bitcoin out there and nobody knows.
No, that's 100%
Right?
not true. No, that's the case with anonymity coins. It's not the case with Bitcoin. When you run Bitcoin Core, you can go in the top right and go to the terminal options thing, and there's a command you just type that will tell you the supply. In Bitcoin, you 100% verifiably know the supply. In anonymity coins, you could have
because
invisible
I
inflation.
thought that bug was they could run it and people couldn't tell if new ones were being minted, and that was the freak out
coins.
moment.
That's only in anonymity coins you can have that problem. In Bitcoin, you can't have that problem.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, people run clients that verifies that the supply should be this, and then looks to make sure that it is. And then some clients.
Okay, so he caught that.
Go ahead.
So he caught that, and he pushed and he told a few people, hey, we need to fix it straight away. And
he responsibly disclosed the vulnerability through the correct channels.
And this was a year and a half ago, right?
Around about.
Roughly 2 years ago.
So HEX is an ERC20 token. You rely on Ethereum to work properly, which it does.
You don't have to, but if it stops working, you will need to switch to something that does work. So there's a lot of systems that support
Chainlink or Tron or Verge or
no, Chainlink also runs on.
Just want to troll a little bit.
Yeah, don't listen to his trolling. So there's a lot of blockchains that support Solidity, which is the language that this contract is written in. And if something's fucked up happened with Ethereum, we could look at the system state before the fuck up and then airdrop that to a different system that works properly, like another fork of Ethereum before the fuck up, what we could run ourselves, or to EOS or to TRX or to whatever the fuck else we wanted to, right? Like we would just execute the contract in the new system and say, hey, here's some code that lets you claim your old coins before the fuck up on the new thing, and we run with it. Now, obviously the market has to be okay with that and, be happy to do that, which they very likely would be if the old thing was fucked up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So in the system, you create
so it
your
runs
own
on
rewards,
so it runs on
coins.
Ethereum.
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You create your own coins.
So is there going to be Okay. So is there going to be a fixed supply?
Kind of. In the launch phase, our supply increases as more people claim it. The more people that claim, the higher the supply, because we got a lot of bonuses to pay out. You get 10,000 HEX for claiming if you have a Bitcoin. You don't need to have a full Bitcoin. You can have a single Satoshi. You can have 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin and still claim for free. You'd probably lose money because that's not worth the transaction fee that you'd probably pay, because most people aren't going to mine their own transactions, even though they could.
And is it going to be a percent? So if I have 0.1 Bitcoin, am I going to get 10% of the 10,000? So 1,000? Okay.
Yep. Now, if you claim the first day, you're going to get a 20% bonus. And then it falls to zero over 350 days. If you don't claim the first day, you're going to start bleeding out and losing your money because it's going to be given to the stakers. And they're going to receive it on day 353. So if you claim early, you get the carrot. If you don't claim early, you get the stick. The stakers get all that benefit. And so now what you have is some giant reward. I'm going
to repeat this.
Important.
Let me just repeat it real fast. So if I claim it on the first day, I'm going to get
12,000. Yep.
But if I claim it on the second day, I'm going to get 9,000.
You're going to bleed out your whole stack over 350 days.
Okay.
So if you wait till day 175, you're missing half your stack. Yep.
So starting on day 2, I start losing the amount that I can claim. Okay.
You not only start losing the amount you can claim, you also lose the bonus too. They both fall off to zero.
Yeah.
So if you don't get in early, you're going to get fucked up.
So that's designed to get people in as soon as possible to pump the price. Okay.
Yes.
On day 1.
Not just to pump the price, but to stop the sycophant leech cocksuckers that come in later after the project's successful and go, oh, look at all of this hard work everyone did. Can I dump on you guys for doing nothing? Fuck those guys.
Like Dave.
I think Dave will FOMO in.
Kidding,
he
Dave.
listed every shitcoin possible.
Yeah,
so
he did.
If you're,
Yeah,
if you have a mental, if you start talking to me about shit I ain't never heard of before, you'll fucking buy anything. So let's be serious.
Of course.
Here. Like,
I don't.
You're definitely buying this better thing if you're talking to me about those worse things.
So once this bubbles, is it going to have another bubble cycle? You think, or we're not there yet?
Well, hold on.
Well,
Sorry, real fast, JJ. Before I want to get back to this. So it's going to keep. So every time somebody claims. So I'm trying to figure out the last day.
Sure. So you'll know. So after the launch phase, which is 353 days, after the launch phase, it inflates at 3.69% maximum per year, and that's less than Bitcoin has ever inflated in the 10 years that it's existed. So it's got a lower inflation rate than Bitcoin has ever had.
And that's going to be like that forever.
Forever. Now,
it's going to inflate. It's forever. So there's always going to be an inflation, kind of like how Ethereum is right now, but they're trying to pull that back. And
maybe. So let me explain the maybes. Inflation in our system is nothing like Bitcoin inflation. Bitcoin inflation is paid to miners who dump it on your fucking head to pay electric bills. And difficulty is at all-time highs, but price is not at all-time highs. So they dump even more on your fucking head. We don't have those externalities and costs in HEX because we don't pay the miners block rewards. Block rewards, inflation is only paid to stakers. The miners get paid ETH, or you can mine your own transactions and pay yourself whatever the hell you want, right? But most people, I think, pay miners to do it, and they pay them ETH. They don't get paid HEX. They could, in theory, one day if someone wanted to do so, but right now they just get paid ETH, right? So in Bitcoin, the inflation is terribly damaging because that shit gets sold on market and pushes the price down to pollute the environment. That's how it works. In our system, we don't pay inflation to miners, and we don't have many transactions to do because we're based on locking the coins up. So less transactions, no overpaying these guys for security. Why would I overpay you for security when it's already nearly free? If I can get perfectly transactionally perfect, multiple billion-dollar projects are running perfectly on it, trustlessness out of this system for pennies, why the fuck would I inflate my currency to overpay you? To a protection racket. Who are you protecting yourself when you pay a miner? The other miners themselves. It's a protection racket. Back in the old days when anyone could become a miner, then you're actually paying yourself to protect from other people. But now, since you have to have specialized SHA-256 hardware, you're just protecting yourself from the same guys, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it'd be a pity if your transaction got rolled back, wouldn't it? Or if your meat store burnt down. Like, it's dog shit. And they don't talk to you on Twitter. But I've already explained that to you a little bit.
So to explain the
sure. So
you said
things
are going to get paid out in ETH.
Right. Not only do we not have the negative externality cost. So if you're an average stake, average size, if you're an average length, average size staker, there is no inflation to you because it's just being paid to you. The only people that actually have inflation in the HEX system are under length, under average size stakers or people who don't stake. They are getting
okay.
diluted.
So let me just say one thing really fast, just because I think it would be helpful for you because I think a lot of these questions are. You've been thinking about this for obviously a very long time, and you're thinking about the 6 moves past what you're doing here. So I'm going to do this because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. But the people who are listening to you for the first time have no clue what all those mean. And so I'm just trying to get like, you're gonna put your Bitcoin in, you're gonna get this money, and when you make a transaction, it's gonna be because of this. Yeah. And that's it. So I'm just trying to get the very basics. Because I agree with you on most of this stuff.
Let me back it up to the very basics. HEX is designed to be the fastest appreciating cryptocurrencies ever existed. And because cryptocurrencies are already the fastest appreciating asset class that has ever existed, it would literally make it the fastest, highest appreciating thing that has ever existed in mankind's history ever, period. It's a very, very strong statement. And the only way I'm able to make that is because crypto just is so price performative already. Okay. So that's its design intention and its goal. Bitcoin can't replace CDs. It can kind of replace currency. HEX can do everything Bitcoin does more securely and replace CDs. So if you go to the bank, savings account's popular, checking account's popular. What's the third most popular product at the bank? Time deposit, CD, period. And no one fucking addresses them in crypto. Why? Because I guess they wanted to make me really rich because I'm going to do
staking
them, right?
in crypto.
So
I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't work, right? You can end your stake whenever you want. That's not the same. So masternode and a staking system that you can end and dump the price whenever you want is fucking useless. The whole idea is that you can't dump the price because you staked your coins. No one else does that shit. But HEX does. It's the world's first blockchain CD. And it addresses a larger market cap than currency. There's more money in CDs. There's 7.2 trillion in CDs alone in the USA and China. That's more than there is printed currency. It's a larger market than cash.
Okay, so hold on. So HEX is designed to be what a CD is to a bank.
One of the things.
Kind of, yes. Yes.
Okay. And now, are you trying to use it as a usability, like point of sale purchases, and
it does all that shit better than Bitcoin?
Are you?
But it doesn't have to. Like, yes, we can do that. You can do that if you want, but that's not what pumps the price the hardest. See, if you want the price to pump, if I buy $1 of your crypto to do a transaction with it, $1 gets sold on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I'm going to buy your magazine for $1. I give the network $1. And I get the magazine, and the guy got the $1, and he sells that shit. And the Bitcoin gets left, the fucking currency, all it had was a transaction. It didn't get any pump. Pump comes from people not having transactions. They buy, and they just hold it. They don't do anything with it.
Yeah,
right?
we talk about this all the time on our show. This is basically
the velocity of money, as the velocity of money increases, the value of the money decreases. So...
But isn't that the ultimate goal for crypto is usability
yes,
and
it is.
creating a stable...
But it's a stupid goal. It's not as good of a goal. Yes, it is an awesome, useful use. It is an amazing thing to make the world a better place, but it does not help the price to pump as much.
No, I'm not even saying it makes the world a better place, but if nobody's using it, then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having crypto in the first place.
Faster than a thing people use, as odd and weird
Bitcoin.
as that is. It's weird.
No,
and it's odd.
No,
but
like that's
how it is.
no. I'm agreeing with you on that, but that you wouldn't want to use it.
You can,
and so if the purpose of crypto
it does the other
is
shit better too.
to
Anyway, the transactions are cheaper than Bitcoin also, and it plugs in more places, and it's actually programmable money, and you can actually build smart contracts on top of it and references a smart contract. Like it does all of that payment shit better, and that's fine. Like I'm glad to put it on our list of look at all the cool shit we do better, but I care about making the price go up. And to make the price go up, we need people to buy it and hold it, not buy it and sell it for transactions. The only benefit for the buying and selling transaction shit is that some percent of that will get held by people transactionally as a float. That's the only actual price pump that comes from a payment network. Payment networks aren't worth that much.
So Noah Smith is an economist that we have on every once in a while, and he said that good money is always going to push out bad money, and good money is the one
he's
you
talking
can
about
use and not have
Gresham's
to worry
law.
about.
He's talking about Gresham's law, and
we try to keep it really basic and simple on the show because not everybody.
You fucked up having me on, dude. You brought the wrong guy, mate.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I'm gonna be your editor today. I'm just gonna keep on reeling you in.
All right, I'm all right with it.
Breaking it down. So at the end of the day, why would somebody want to worry about if they have okay, so I've got Richard Hart's HEX, I've got Bitcoin, I've got this, and no one's using any of them. So from an investment standpoint, I'll pick one.
Sure.
But then eventually, when the usability one finally breaks through, whether it's Nano or some version of that or some version of Digibyte or this or that, whatever, one of them finally breaks through and everyone in the world is using it. At that point, what's going to be the purpose of HEX or Bitcoin or something that people aren't using? And they're just like, oh, there's a store of value. Why? I don't know, because it used to be 100 years ago. Like, literally, what's the purpose at that point?
This is like similar to saying, like, what if everyone just watches one television channel? Or what if people just use one brand of computer?
No, he's not. He's not saying that.
No, this is going to be like, why are people storing gold when people are realizing, oh, well, gold isn't really useful anymore because
gold just went up 30%
around. So why are we?
Gold's up 30% this year. No one uses it for transactions.
That's our point.
So
people are asking
this idea.
That's the point,
right? If
in 200 years, is it still going to be that way?
That's my bit.
It could be, yes.
Are people still going to use gold as a store of value 200 years from now when we have all these reasons not to use it?
Yes, they may. They might. Yeah.
But
like if we have a war that makes technology work a lot shittier, then it's even more likely, right? So
So I mean, but
These
that's my point
questions-
with HEX is like,
so let's be serious.
Are we using it?
Why
Are
do
we
you give
not
a
using
fuck
it?
about what happens in 20 years when you become a millionaire in a fucking year? Like figure out year 20 and year 19 or year 18 or year 15, or like, it's just irrelevant. Like navel gazing and dreaming about the far future is so unnecessary when we're in the fastest appreciating thing that ever exists ever, right? Like it doesn't really fucking matter what happens in 15 years. If you're,
then why would I look at a year as opposed to tomorrow?
Well, you're designing a cryptocurrency to pump, and
It's like-
you are designing something that is supposed to work better than Bitcoin. I'm assuming you have it designed for the future, and that future extends more than 5 years.
We've handled all that, but that doesn't mean I feel comfortable making price like. How do I explain this? When you use,
I'm not asking for a price prediction at all. I'm asking, like, is it going to be usable? Are people going to want to use it?
Yes.
And if the people aren't going to want to use it, what's going to separate it like 50 years from now from, because that's the thing. Like a lot of people are like, I'm investing in the future.
Okay.
I want to invest in something that's going to be
Let's go
around
back.
so I can hand it to my kids.
If we want to say crypto sucks, we can say that. If we want to say it's awesome, we can say that. I can support both sides amazingly. So we've covered the crypto sucks angle. Let's cover the crypto's good angle, right? How much money is being hidden offshore in tax havens? 13 trillion?
Yeah.
Okay. What percentage of that could crypto take?
You live in one. You tell me.
What percentage of that could Bitcoin take, right?
You live in a tax haven?
A large percentage, right? Okay. Yeah. Do people like transactional fast networks? Like PayPal has a value, right? So could a human peer-to-peer version of PayPal also have a value? I would say it's probably less, but sure, let's assign it a value, a couple $100 million there. Okay, do people like anonymity? Do people like the dark net? Okay, a couple $100 million there. You know, you start adding these things up. Okay, how about digital gold? Could we take some of gold's market share? Yeah, we sure could, right? So if you take offshore banking's market share, and you take gold's market share, and you take PayPal and Visa and MasterCard's market share, and you take some of the central banks' market share, because, you know, if this stuff is widely used or wide enough that nations decide to get a little taste of it for hedge, right? Like some nation adopts it. If some smaller nation adopts this as a currency, we don't have to go and hear these stupid stories in legislatures about how Bitcoin's not a currency anymore. Because we could go, oh, it's not? Well, look at that country. Because it is right there. So we're going to have those currency laws now, and you guys can shut the fuck up, right? Those things are very likely to happen, right? Like this stuff is valuable enough. I think the Marshall Islands already has actually a crypto. It's just not Bitcoin, unfortunately. So because we could have used that for legislative leveraging.
And something like Romania or one of those countries owns like Bulgaria, 5% or 3% because they've just been buying it nonstop.
Might have been Romania. Yeah. I think they seized some Darknet guys' coins and they got like 400,000 or something.
Yeah, that's how they got it. Yeah.
So
crypto is good.
There is a future. Crypto can be good. It needs adoption, right? If you want that. So I care about the price going up. It doesn't really require adoption. Now look, if you own a large enough stack of a coin, you can pay to onboard new users and buy fucking ads and be cash positive doing that. So if you have a large stakeholder who is an expert in marketing that cares to make something do well, it's a possibility that could happen. But if you have a truly decentralized system where nobody holds enough of it to ever be cash positive bringing a new user on board, you'll never see fucking ads anywhere. And then you'll never get customers. It's really that easy. If you don't have a marketing budget, you're not going to fucking scale. Unless you get very lucky.
Podcast.
You'd have to be so extremely lucky. Yeah, it's that hard.
Unless we have Richard Hart on our podcast.
It's very important that I explain this one thing to you guys. When I say, look, who gives a fuck in 15 years? We have tested the system far beyond 15 years. It's designed for 50 years, right? We're not going to make them a maximum stakes 50 years because we have an issue with EIP 1884 in Ethereum where they change the cost of an S load function, which changes the cost of running the contract, which makes it so that the network is breaking certain features if they make certain decisions. And so to account for their future fuckery, we have limited the scope of our contract to consume less gas to account for future fuckability 15 or 20 years from now. So we are accounting that far out and modeling that far out. But those things matter less than making the now
Right, but
work,
I think
right?
I think it's important because then it gives people an idea of what to expect. Okay, so HEX is going to pump, and then the staking allows it to stabilize, so that's going to be around.
Well, it also bubbles
Okay,
less.
it
So let
bubbles
me explain
less.
why it bubbles less.
What does that mean exactly?
So
Okay, really fast,
Sure.
guys. Hold on. So this is Keyword Crypto. We're interviewing Richard Hart, and he's explaining HEX right now to us, which is a cryptocurrency that he's creating and launching in the next
should be this month.
Is the
It should be
snapshot
this
in the next month? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So if you're interested, go to his website, go to our website, and we'll have links everywhere. Hex.win, and we're going to go into the next step of what HEX is.
So if you
All right,
you think about, if you're a staker and you see the world's first chart of market supply expiring stakes over time, will be the first chart in crypto of here's how many stakes are being unstaked over time. And you see some whale has his stake ending on Tuesday. Are you going to set your stake to end on Tuesday? Probably not. Because what if he sells? So you will probably set your stake to end on Wednesday or Monday, whatever. You're not going to set it to set the stake to end your stake the same day that guy is, right? So because we are the first token that you know the future possible market supply, not total supply, because total supply doesn't mean shit. Satoshi could come sell on you right now. You don't know. The Ponzi schemer could come sell his 200,000 coins, his $1 billion right on you right now, right? You don't know. So if you want real market supply in our system, you have it. And so what that means is, since you know how many coins are going to be available on market, maybe you don't push the price as hard, right? Because you know what the future actually looks like. Or you also have less downside. You see a person's big stakes coming, you don't end stake the same day he does, right? Furthermore, people can stake, up to 15 years, 10 to 15 years. You'll know how much that inflation we talked about, it's delayed far into the future. If you stake for 10 years, none of the inflation that's paid to you exists for 10 years. So even that very low number of 3.69, it's actually far lower than that because it's pushed out into a further time frame, right? And then,
do you have a way to...
If you claim the first day...
I was going to say, do you have a way to keep onboarding people after this bubble cycle? And
so it's going to be harder to onboard people after all of the awesome bonuses die after the first 353 days. Because after day 353, all we've got is paying stakers instead of miners, lower inflation rate than Bitcoin, and then, longer pays better. If you every year extra you stake, you get paid an extra 20% bonus shares. If you stake larger, you can get up to 10% bonus shares.
I'm fascinated.
And so
I'm fascinated by this idea of, okay, continuing to stake, continuing to onboard after all the bonuses, after the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
I think that are you going to continue development on the crypto, on the currency, on the coin itself?
Can't make you any promises.
Is that
whatsoever
part of your roadmap
because of the Howey test?
Oh, I get it. Okay,
it's because of the Howey test. I can't make you any promises of work or effort or where the money goes. I can't tell you.
What would you like?
Thing. You have to expect nothing. You have to expect nothing. Now, what I can tell you is, if someone has a giant bag of something, it seems like it would be very reasonable for them to make efforts to make their bag increase in value. That seems reasonable. Maybe you'll have a big bag, and then maybe you'll.
That's kind of like what's happened with Bitcoin.
I got to tell you, there's already a shitload of people volunteering. Shitload.
Really?
So the trend, shitload, tons. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome.
What do you think about this being its own blockchain in the future, or do you think this is always going to be an Ethereum?
I think that it is a very large cost to save yourself a couple pennies and have less interoperability. It seems like a very stupid decision. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to fork something and turn on your GPU and mine some blocks. I was there in the beginning of Bitcoin, and I was there in the beginning of Zcash, and I was there in the beginning of a lot of fucking things. They're very easy to turn on networks. right? The code's already done. The bugs are already, figured out. I could easily turn on my own fork of Ethereum like this in a week. But why? Why would I do that? To have a lower hash rate, to be easier to attack, to be able to interact with other contracts less, to be able to interact with other DEXs less, to not be able to interact with DAI. Like, fuck all that. Like, choosing the same ecosystem as everyone else has a shitload of upsides. It's nearly all upside.
A network that already
so
exists.
I would definitely love to stay. Yeah, I would love to stay on that platform as long as possible. And if it ever gets fucked up, okay, well, we can address that if it ever happens. I mean, they've got the most developers. They've got the biggest bug bounties. They've got the best roadmap for building shit out in the future. Like, it's the right place to be. It's got the best security auditing. Like,
you haven't
really
experienced any pitfalls with it.
So then why are you using Bitcoin
Solidity's
then
dog
as the
shit. Like, Solidity's the worst fucking language ever, but it's better than other dog shit. It's
How
the
big
best
is your
of the dog
team,
shit.
by the way?
I've gone through so many guys.
Really? There's quick
It's
turnover,
very,
huh?
yeah. Well, just they tell you they can do the work and then they can't do the work. It's really hard. So, like, my lead dev is better than everybody. It's crazy. Like, because I've tried to add.
So if you like Ethereum so much, Ethereum so much, why didn't you do the payout in Ethereum? Using Ethereum as in a wallet instead of Bitcoin.
It just didn't start that way. I thought about it. So here's the problem. If I could use the UTXO system and onboard any other crypto that could generate signatures. But then I have to worry about, okay, how many of these people are just fucking ICOs? They're not buying more anyway. When I give you free crypto, it's not so that you can just dump the price. It's so that you buy more. It's a coupon. It's freemium. Giving you something free and making you hold on to it and value it, like those little eggs that you were given when you were in high school. You have an egg and it's your baby and you have to keep it and fucking protect it for a week, right? It's an exercise and responsibility. Nobody wants free stuff. People want expensive stuff for free, right? So the fact that people can transform ETH into HEX makes HEX more valuable for the free claimers. The fact that you have to sit on it for a year makes it more valuable for the free claimers, right? The fact that it's not given to people that are likely to dump, like Mt. Gox, who's just removed from the UTXO set, they can't claim. Their coins get given to other people. The whales.
So really fast, you just introduced a new word called free claimers, and you haven't said that before. Okay. So let's explain.
Yeah, it just means that you have a BTC wallet that has BTC at the snapshot, which is just a moment in time where we look at the Bitcoin blockchain and we go, okay, there's how much money everyone's got. And then you go into your Bitcoin wallet and you say, hey, I want to claim my HEX, and you click sign. And you put that shit in the Ethereum blockchain and you just minted your own HEX. That's how you claim. There's no middlemen. Okay. It's you and the blockchain.
So is a free claimer, are you using the word free claimer different than staker?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yes.
Okay.
So
a free claimer is somebody who chooses not to stake the staker
will
somebody
be auto
says I'm going to keep
90%.
90%.
When you drive down the highway and you see free tickets, if you call and you go, yeah, I want those free tickets to Disney World. They go, okay, come to our sales presentation.
No, hold on. I don't. You don't gotta explain the rationale behind it. I'm just trying to let people know.
When you free claim, it's 90%.
This is the first time you said that 90% is going to be auto staked.
Yes. Yeah, when you free claim, it's auto staked for 350 days.
So no matter what,
minimum.
Even if you wanted to dump like Dave,
dump like Dave.
That's going to be our new hashtag. 10%. You can only dump 10%.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay.
Now, if you want the extra bonus shares, at 3641 day stake, which is about 10 years, you get 3x the shares. So if you want 3x the shares, you can stake longer. Okay. And if you split your wallet up ahead of time, you can do a 2-year stake, 3-year stake, 10-year stake, 5-year stake, all those different ranges. You can choose one stake length per claim, and you claim once per an address.
Okay.
Now.
And then that's it. You can't restake on that address again.
Sure. Yeah, you can. You just don't get free coins on that Bitcoin address again.
Okay.
So, once you've got your HEX, you can make as many stakes as you want. I think there might be some limit, maybe, where you have to use another address at some point. But it's very, very high. Now, if you send Ethereum to the contract and join the adoption amplifier, then day one, a billion hex.
Which is, so explain the adoption
This is the
amplifier.
most
That's
important
another
part
word
of
you
the
said
project.
you just threw out.
Yeah, this is the most important project by far.
Okay.
The people that made the most money in crypto ever was Block One. Block One produced the EOS blockchain, and they got $4.2 billion
Mm-hmm.
and then handed it to the community. Good luck, guys. 4.2 billion. Okay. That's more than anyone else has ever made in crypto, including Satoshi. Now, how did they do that? Over 350 days, they let you send Ethereum to the contract, and it would give you EOS ERC21 Ethereum tokens. Well, that's interesting. Our system does the same thing. For 350 days, you send Ethereum, and it gives you HEX. Damn, very similar. Now, what's the difference? They were security and promised you all types of work and future bullshit, and they were 100% security. We're not. It's done. It's functioning. If you like it, run it and make your own coins. If you don't like it, the code just sits there. You run the code, great. You ran the code. You're the network. You minted your own
They
coins.
also had
Congrats.
Brock Pierce. Yeah.
You don't run the code? Okay.
Yeah.
For a while. Yeah. For a while. So
Okay, so to break it down, there's two ways to earn HEX. I can
3.
have Bitcoin in a wallet. 3. I can have
Uh-huh.
Bitcoin in a wallet. I can send ETH and exchange it for
You
HEX.
need to, look, if you send ETH
And
to
then
the
what's the
contract, you will lose that shit. You need to send ETH through the join lobby function, right? So if you just send ETH to the contract, you're going to lose that shit. If you that's considered a donation, thanks.
Man,
If you want to join the lobby and turn your Ethereum into HEX, you need to use the join
I
lobby
think people
function.
are going to lose money. I mean, not because your system is bad.
In crypto? Hold on. In crypto? Lose money in crypto? Impossible. Who's ever lost money in crypto?
There's going to be a lot of lost
Okay, so
transactions.
you and I need to sit down, and I need to help you break down so people are very, very clear, because you keep on throwing new words in every
I'm leaving
every
some
10
out.
minutes. So now there's a lobby.
Yeah.
Well, this is all
So
going to
the-
go into the Richard
so
Hart
what's the lobby?
Win dictionary that's going to live online next to your sci-vive novel.
Yeah.
I only invented 2 words: pumpamentals and maximalish.
I
The
like
only ones that have had
maximalish.
traction of the new words that I've invented. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
So I've only got 2 words I've really coined.
Okay, so what's the lobby?
So imagine that there's 2 buckets. One bucket is full of HEX. It has 1 billion HEX day one. And then the other bucket's empty. People throw Ethereum into that bucket. And then at the end of the day, the buckets, they empty. And if you were 10% of the Ethereum bucket, you get 10% of the HEX bucket. If you were 1% of the Ethereum bucket, you get 1% of the HEX bucket. And then a new day starts. This one has probably 500 million day 2. And this one has empty. People throw Ethereum into it again. At the end of the day, the bucket's empty. You see? So the lobby is just what we call as buckets pretty much. It's just like a game lobby, right? Like you want to.
And this is going to go on, forever, or just during the
days.
first year.
It's just for 350 days.
Okay.
Now technically it's 351.
So
it's
this
really,
is
that
how
particular
you're,
phase is 351.
This is in essence how you are creating the initial bulk of.
Well, if you
HEX.
no,
Is the, in the
it's
first
not,
year.
it's not really the bulk. It's nearly the free claimers. The stakers get the largest chunk because they get adoption bonuses. The lobbies and the stakers would get the same rewards, except the lobbies don't get those critical mass and virality adoption bonuses, but the stakers do. So the stakers are going to end up getting more than the lobby guys.
Okay.
But the lobby guys can become stakers. Just like the free claim guys can become stakers.
Lobby guys,
So
stakers, and what was the... Just kidding.
So look at it this way, right? If you go to the store,
So what's the
if
third
you go to
way?
the store, you can buy shit and you can use coupons, and you get more shit if you use coupons, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
You can transform ETH into HEX, or you can free claim with a BTC signature, and then you can stake if you want. So if you do the adoption amplifier and transform ETH into HEX, you're not auto staked. You can do a day long stake, you can do a 10-year long stake. It's up to you. But if you're a free claimer, you will have a minimum 350-day stake with no emergency unstaking. You never heard that word before, did you?
Unstaking.
That's a new word.
Okay.
Emergency
Emergency
unstaking, yes.
unstaking.
It's Profit Center. Yeah, when you emergency end stake,
So
you get fucked
in
and pay the
basic English,
stakers.
what's the most optimal way to make the most amount of HEX if I had 1 Bitcoin to my
So I
name?
did this math, And the math is based on how much it costs you to get in and out of Bitcoin, basically. But in this example, since you already have the Bitcoin, the ideal game theory for you is to free claim, because you don't have any transaction fees, right? Like to get in and out of
Free
Bitcoin, you're already
claim
in it.
using
So free claim,
Bitcoin.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So you make a Bitcoin signature and you submit it to the Ethereum network. You either mine the transaction yourself or more likely pay a couple pennies of Ethereum as a fee to a miner to mine it for you. Okay. And now you've got your free claim, right? You claim day one, your Bitcoin turns into 12,000, right? Now, if someone referred you, you get 10% more. And then they get 20% on top of all that. So in effect, the system creates 15,840 coins if someone is referred and claims the first day. So a claim on the first day will generate 15,840 coins to pay the person that referred you their 20%, your 10% bonus, and your 20% speed bonus, and your 10,000 base, right? Now, once that occurs, you can take your Bitcoin and sell that shit because it was already in the snapshot. It's already in the snapshot. You've already got all the credit you're going to get for it. You can sell that, turn it into Ethereum, put the Ethereum in the adoption amplifier. Now, I think that people are going to over FOMO day one. And even though day one has about twice the HEX to give out, I think people will over FOMO more than twice the X. And so I think day one will end up giving you less good of a deal as maybe day 2 to day 5. So if you spread your ETH into the first week or 2 weeks of buckets, you might catch a more affordable day, a better ratio. See that seems positive to me. So free claim, transform your BTC to ETH, join the adoption amplifier.
And just going fast and really fast. So every time you say adoption amplifier, you're talking about the lobby.
Yes. Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make, because you've been
so the word transform, lobby, and adoption amplifier are all the same thing. All those words are the same thing.
Okay.
Now,
perfect.
Why would you want
what's
your coins
the third
earlier?
way then of?
The third way is to refer people.
Okay.
Well,
that's the third way.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I guess, right. Those are the only ways to get coins directly from the contract. You could buy them from someone else and they got them from the contract, but they only got them through one of those three ways. Now, here's another amazing feature.
The only way to mint coins are those three ways.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
All of the coins come from either free claiming or joining a lobby. Those activities cause coins to be minted. If you get in early, you get the lowest share price ever. What's a share price? Haven't heard that term before. When you go to stake,
I mean, I've heard the word share price.
When you go to stake,
not
you have to pay a share price. You will only get the number of shares. You have your HEX that you want to stake, and then it gets divided by the share price, and that's how many shares you get. That only goes up. It's programmed to literally only go up. So at some point, the price could be so high that your free claim will fail because the share price is higher than the number of HEX that you would have received, in which case your free claim won't even work. And so you ask yourself, well, how fast does a share price rise? And I invented this, and it's very, 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 very cool.
Okay.
It rises.
If I say so myself.
It rises as fast as the maximum profit anyone has ever made as a staker. Every time someone ends their stake, the system says, how much profit did you make? What was your multiple? Oh, you made a 1.5x? Then the price goes up 1.5x. Right? So when you end your stake, if you're the highest return on investment that anyone has ever made, you set the share price. Now, what's the effect of that? The effect of that is that the price only goes up and it can never go down.
The price of the share, not the price of HEX.
It has nothing to do with it. It may tangentially have some effect on the price of HEX, but we're definitely not talking about that. The price of HEX, I assure you, will go up and down because it is set by humans, and humans do crazy shit, and you can't program that. I can program limits on supply. Yeah. I can program in a referral program. I can program in a lot of fundamentals that are awesome, but what human beings choose to do with that buy and sell button on the exchange they use, I can't control that shit. I can lean on them and give them game
So
theory.
share. Now, is that percentage changing daily?
It only changes when people end
daily?
their stakes. So if no one ends their stake that day, it doesn't change that day. And if no one was a higher ROI that day, it doesn't change, right? But since the profit inputs to the stakers occur daily, it's very likely that every day that passes, a higher ROI will be found. So in my models, it looks like the share price will go up 10x, 5x, 3x. Depends on what you throw into the models. We have a website where you can make your own models. It's called stakehex.com. It's not my website. Volunteer made it. It looks awesome. And you can model, okay, I think this many people are going to claim, and I think they're going to claim this fast, and here's how much I'm going to claim, and here's when I'm going to stake, and here's how long I'm going to stake for, and I'll show you the supply of the whole system and how much profit you made and a lot of really cool stuff. So stakehex.com if you want to simulate, your return in HEX on your stake based on what you think other people will do.
So do you think there's going to be a point where it's no longer financially viable for people to stake?
No, because people will stop staking.
If they if they don't still have it in the original
it all auto balances. If fewer people stake, you get paid more to stake. It's just like Bitcoin. If less people mine, then the difficulty goes down. You get paid more to be a miner, and then more people start mining. It all balances. So if too many people are staking, then some people will stop, and then the pay will increase. So it all auto balances.
Yeah, but you said the stake price doesn't ever drop.
That's right.
Okay. So if it's only going to go up exponentially,
I don't
in essence,
think
as ROIs.
I'm not sure that it's exponential. In my models, it looks. I'd have to look. It's not a very sharp exponentiality.
Well, because if somebody kept it for 10 years and you say it's going to be more pumpable than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's
you have to multiply them.
1.89 million.
What you're doing is you're taking the USD appreciation and then multiplying it by your staker appreciation, and then that's your actual ROI. So those two multiply by each other.
Right.
So like if you make 10x as a staker, and so now you have 10x more HEX, and the price of HEX goes up 10x, you're up 100x. That's how that works. So the share price can only go up.
And so the new share price is going to be up 100%.
No. The share price only looks at your ROI in HEX. It doesn't know what the price is in the real world. We don't have an oracle for that. If I had an oracle for that, I would have let you send BTC to the contract. But we don't have an oracle, so we can't do that.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's trustless, right?
Gotcha.
So, if we didn't have to do trustless, we could make all kinds of shortcuts and let you send ETH or let you send BTC or let you send whatever the fuck you want. But because we're doing it the trustless way, the secure way, the auditable way, you can't have that. You just can only use one thing.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to start wrapping this up soon. Richard, one question I have for you is, and maybe you don't want to talk about this, but what are some things that you could see going wrong with this?
A lot of fake websites. Reported 20. I reported 20 imposters.
So that's
today
something that everyone needs to keep an eye out for all the time, as usual. But especially with something like this, which is saying you're
right. So what they're doing right now is they're making copies of my Twitter account and then following some people, and then direct messaging other people who don't realize it's not really me. Which the way to tell is look at their follower account. They'll have low follower accounts. They're not me. I've got over 50,000
That's not going to crash
followers.
HEX, though.
So
that's just going to screw people up.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's still not great for the world. There's very limited ways for HEX to get fucked because we
what exchanges are you hunting?
So we are already going to be on Ether Delta, Fork Delta, McAfee Dex, and all those other things because anyone can add the contract there because it's an ERC20. IDEX already reached out and said they wanted to list the token. They're 50% of all DEX volume on ETH. The other things, I can tell you what I'm doing now, but I can't make statements about things after the launch because of how we test and work of others and things like that, right? So I can't really tell you that we'll be on any other large exchanges. I think that a honestly launched cryptocurrency with more audits than any other, with 4,200 users in the live chat, with barely a demo, with 17,000 signups on the email, with barely a demo, but not a single dollar spent in advertising, is very, very strong performance. That performance exceeds what other billion-dollar cryptocurrencies have in their chat rooms and their signups. And we've already got that beat, and people haven't even used the testnet, right? So I think that if you are that type of crypto, that you should find yourself launched on exchange, because exchanges want volume and they want users. And if we're giving out free money, right, like Bittrex and Binance both have cold wallets that could claim HEX on the behalf of their users, and it would give their users an excuse to log on. I would like to see them do that. But most other exchanges can't, because they use multisig, and multisig can't claim. There's some features in our system that you guys didn't hear about. We murder those whales by 75%. You know those whales that we talked about that hold 40% of the currency?
I've heard you talk about this before, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have over 1,000 coins, your shit gets cut in half. And all those coins that you can't get, they get given to the stakers. If you have multisig, like a big exchange, you can't claim, gets given to the stakers. Satoshi doesn't claim, gets given to the stakers. He can claim if he wants, but it's unlikely.
So they get minted.
Exactly.
They just can't claim it.
Exactly.
Okay, nice. So really fast, you talked about Bittrex, and we'll try to wrap up quickly after that. But explain the actual first step for somebody who's just getting in. So it needs to be on which type of wallet? Can it be a 3 or 1? Can we
support normal Bitcoin addresses that start with a 1. We support common SegWit addresses which start with a 3. You can, I like Electrum. I think they make a great wallet. It makes signatures that you can, generate signatures. If you have a Trezor and a Ledger, we support, Electrum supports those devices, so you can use them to sign. And MetaMask, which is what we use as our Ethereum wallet, it also supports Ledger and Trezor hardware devices. So, if you've got either of those devices, your keys can stay in them. You never have to take them out or look at them or anything. You can sign offline. You don't have to install any weird software. It's just totally safe. You're just going to install a Bitcoin wallet. If you're worried about your anonymity, you can use Tor or a VPN and just claim each one of your claims to a new address. You'll leave exactly as anonymous as you started, and you'll know that you actually have your backups and you actually have access to your keys, which many people don't. Not your keys, not your coins. You need to take control of your own keys, take control of your own seed words, protect them like your nudes or better.
So when you say sign, because a lot of people aren't going to know what that means.
That literally shows you how to import your keys, free claim, and stake in 1 minute.
That's on
1 minute. If you go to youtube.com/hex crypto, you will see a 1 minute long video that shows you how to import keys, sign, claim, stake in a fucking minute. And most people don't even have to import keys.
So is that going to tell you which wallets don't work?
I know Koinomi.
So let's say I have
a lot of wallets that work. Any ones that can generate signatures: Bitcoin Core, Koinomi, Mycelium, Electrum, and a shitload of other ones. Right? If you use something like Exodus, you can't.
So anybody listening, make sure you have a wallet where you can sign.
And it doesn't even matter. Like, you can fix that shit later.
That's the most important
part. As
long
as you have your keys, you can put those keys in something that can sign, and then make the signature, and then delete the keys, and not have to change anything or do anything different at all. So as long as you have control of your own keys at the snapshot, then you can always use a different wallet or import your keys or fix it, But it is important that you do have your Bitcoin in a 1 address or a 3 address that is a SegWit address, or a BC1 address. We also support native SegWit, Bec32. Those addresses start with BC1. So addresses start with 1 are good. Addresses start with BC1 that are SegWit are good. Multisig is not good. Time locked.
And do you have something that lets people know how to delete their keys if they're using something to sign? Because we're just trying to make sure that people don't uses a process, do something, forget to delete something, and then all of a sudden their keys are out.
Yeah, if you want to securely, so when you're using your computer and you hit delete, that shit doesn't really mean delete. It just leaves a mark next to it, like pretend I'm deleted. If you want to actually delete something, you can use a piece of software called Eraser from Heidi.ie, HEIDI.ie. They make a program called Eraser, which will securely erase data. Or if you use an SSD drive, which are very common these days, and your SSD drive supports the trim function, then you can hit Shift Delete and it'll be gone. It'll skip your recycle bin. Then you right-click your drive and go to Properties and go to Tools and click Optimize and click the drive and click Optimize, and then it will trim it. And that does is it truly, really deletes everything that was marked as deleted. And then it's fucking gone and you're not recovering it. That's the best form of deleting.
Okay, I'm going to go on a limb and say 99% of our users have no idea.
You asked me a hard
said,
question.
So
I had to do secure data deletion, and that's the easiest answer there is.
No. But that's what I want because you said it so quick. I think people are like, oh, that's easy.
Well, there's a difference between deleting and securely
really
deleting.
Fucking hard.
I told you.
So try
versions.
to find an app that lets you sign inside the app.
It's nice if you can do that.
That's probably the easiest way for most users.
Yeah, like look,
right?
if you're
ultimately can
use if at all
confirm
possible, use Electrum.
Okay.
I think Electrum is fabulous. They have an Electrum for Android.
Okay.
They have an Electrum for desktop. They do not have an Electrum for Apple. So, I tell people Coinomi, but I don't like that Coinomi pushes so many other fucking coins onto the users. It bothers me a little bit. I'm a little bit less excited to talk about that wallet now that I logged in it. I was like, holy shit. It's like they're shoving a million fucking weird coins in my face here. So I don't need that shit happening to my users, really.
What about Exodus?
Work. Exodus can't sign.
Exodus for Mac.
Exodus can't
Does
sign.
that work?
It just doesn't. It won't do signatures.
Can't sign. Okay. So if I'm using my Ledger, then I have to use a specific piece of software to use it with, you said?
If you're using a Ledger on Linux, then it can sign natively using their app, apparently. A user in our chat room developed an open source piece of software that lets you generate signatures natively in the Ledger if you install it and use it and all that bullshit. They need to fix their fucking software. It's a very simple function that has been supported in Bitcoin forever. Most good wallets support it. They need to fix their shit.
So, Richard, where is the website where everyone can get this information? Because some of this does sound kind of like a Rube Goldberg situation.
HEX.win. This is crypto, guys. It's not exactly easy.
We want to make it easy for our listeners if possible, because I think
if you go and watch my 1 minute YouTube video, it's fucking easy.
There you go.
It's a minute.
All right. Well, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have to.
What do you guys? Can I ask you a question? What do you use for a wallet?
I use Trezor. That's my hardware wallet of choice, and then I use a few other ones as well.
I think Trezor can just sign natively. Like I've got the devices plugged in.
I use Zengo. I use Zengo on my phone. Then I have a not
Ledger?
Trezor was the other one I'm blanking on.
Okay.
Ledger.
Yeah. So I'm going to make demos for all of these devices. I have them sitting.
And what's
here in
the
front
date
of me.
that we need to watch out for?
Okay.
So we're targeting this month. I keep seeing my devs pushing commits. Software's hard, right?
But they're
like everything. We're just about out of stuff to do.
So people.
You're gonna have a 2 week warning.
People need to follow you on Telegram or on Twitter, and then they'll get the information from you.
Follow Hex Crypto on Twitter, twitter.com/Hex Crypto. Follow me, twitter.com/Richard Hart Win. Definitely join the Telegram. We got 460 people live before we started this conversation, and 4,200 joined. And we're talking, it's a community, and we're building stuff. Hey guys, let's make this landing page better. Hey, let's get this translation right. We are a community getting shit done.
That's Richard Hart's.
And you also have an email
/Hex.
Yeah, and that's your price
email
calls too.
on
You give out tons of free information on your Telegram.
Yep.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, I got a free trading channel. Thanks, man. I got a free trading channel, free price calls, free general crypto chat, free book. I wrote 2 self-proven books.
When it comes to
free coins,
price calls, I was surprised that you've actually been pretty right on most of the last few
Thank you.
years.
Yep.
I was thinking,
Yep.
like, there's got to. Well,
I'm surprised because you're so weird.
Don't make fun of me. I'm
like,
saying most people don't
where you
have
going
any
with that,
fucking
JJ?
clue
Come
what's
on.
going on with the price. And I was actually looking.
Yeah,
I was
most
looking
people
for
suck.
one moment where Richard was actually
It's
really
true.
wrong about it. And the only time I could think of is when we hit 20,000. I remember you were joked around.
I called the short
You
at
joked
19K.
around and said
I
you
called
did,
the short
and
at
then you
19K.
joked around and said we're going to 50,000. But like that was obvious.
I did that because everyone fucked
It
with
was
me so hard.
ridiculous.
Like they kept, because I was bearish, they were like, I'm like, all right, you fucks. Like, fine,
So I'm
here,
still
50K.
looking for that one moment
Right?
where you
Like-
were terribly wrong, and so far I haven't found it.
Yeah, and I don't delete tweets either. Like I'll delete, like if I have a typo or something, I might delete a tweet.
Yeah.
I think I got one call wrong. Like I called a bounce at 9,300. It didn't work out, and then you got it at like 8,500.
I mean, there are how many
That was it.
thousands of like Twitter accounts are out there talking about their charts and their lines and their
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Yep, it's true.
It's really confusing. So anyway, thank you for your service.
I used to just put on the chart. I used to be like, yo, look at my calls on the chart. There's the chart. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. There's the chart. Like, here's the timestamps. Here's the tweets. There's a chart. Fuck off. They just get bored of doing it. Like I forgot I even called the 19K short. And then I went back in history because people were talking. They're like, oh, you fucked me on the 20K. I'm like, what? I think I killed that. But what are you talking about? Then I went and looked it up and I'm like, oh yeah, I had that perfect. So I'm not going to brag about that now. Like I had to go back in history and look like, oh yeah, I could be bragging about that too.
Well, I mean, you pointed out pretty clearly that when the CME and CBOE futures launched, that was pretty much the moment that you could start shorting Bitcoin and you would have been fine. And like that was
it was the exact top.
Yeah.
The CME launch was the exact top. So we cover everything. Look, here's the important part, guys.
Yeah.
I think that this could be the fastest appreciating thing that has ever existed in the history of mankind. It's free if you've got Bitcoin. If you don't have Bitcoin, or you want to, if you don't already have Bitcoin, you're going to make more by getting Ethereum and sending it to the adoption amplifier than you are by getting Bitcoin, because there's fees to getting out of Bitcoin and the price might move against you. So to go round trip, and if you want to go learn about that math and do that estimate for yourself and decide whether you think that's the case, I've done the math for you on whether it's better to free claim or get it through the adoption amplifier. And you can do both. You can free claim and then turn it into ETH and use the adoption amplifier. The math is on hex.win /adoption-amplifier.html. And you can see the math. There's also a link to it on the front page if you scroll down to the adoption amplifier. And I think a lot of people are going to get quite rich. That's my guess. I can't guarantee it, but it sure feels that way to me because I get a lot of people message me telling me they want to buy it. And if people buy it, then, and the price starts at zero, can't go lower than zero. Yeah. Like, can't lose money on a free thing, and the price can't get lower to zero. So I don't see how the price doesn't go up here.
All right, cool. Well, I guess that's our show. Is there anything else you want to add, Michael? Anything else you want to add, Richard?
Yeah, go download the free self-help book at SciVive, t.me/SciVive. Join Hex Crypto on Twitter, Hex Crypto on YouTube, Hex Crypto on Telegram, t.me/Hex Crypto. Richard Hart Win on Twitter for me. Be part of something that could be the best opportunity of your life. I am a expert in this space, and I also am a real world marketing expert who has multiple successful startups. I don't know what more you could possibly want in your crypto. There's almost too many features here to talk about in 2 hours. I'm sure I forgot some awesome
There's
features.
probably some terms that we didn't define. Yes. All right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're good.
And if there's something you really like feel you need to talk about again, you can always come back.
Next month.
We'll love
next
to have
month,
you. It's fun.
probably not going to be me able to talk to anyone ever again. I'll probably just live in a fucking castle somewhere on a cloud. Just this shit.
I thought you already live in a castle,
like Sky
dude.
Castle, though, like the Mario Brothers. So it's fucking you.
Okay,
a better castle.
Nice.
You can go to 0 to 100 so quick in crypto that right now people ask me questions in chat, I answer them. But at some point, that shit's just not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So you have the opportunity now to really get in at the beginning of something, and that phase, like, it just evaporates. Right. It's like fucking, yeah, we can't talk to Richard anymore. He's busy. Right. Like I'll be on stage somewhere, or I'll be on television
living in a
somewhere.
Our
sky
show is
cloud.
usually so
Sky
pessimistic,
cloud
so it's
castle.
nice to have a little bit of optimism. It's interesting to end the show.
Well, look, I'm pessimistic about all kinds of shit
Yeah.
except the price, and the price is all I really care about. So, like, yeah, this shit sucks in all kinds of ways, but price keeps going up. So who gives a fuck, really?
All right, cool. Well, that.
Yeah, we're not saving Argentina, but we're all getting rich.
All right. Well, we'll make sure to we'll make sure to have all those links in our show notes. So don't worry, because we know he talks fast.
Did I talk
thanks for
fast?
the branding lesson.
Thanks for it's okay. You talk fast about stuff that that other people don't know yet, and so
I'll do better
it's
with
all
you
right.
guys next time.
Can't be perfect at
You should see my
everything.
diet. It's not looking good, mate. I've had multiple desserts today. It's not looking good.
All right.
It's good talking to you guys.
I have
all
two
right,
donuts
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to
fridge
get
right now,
going,
so
but
I
thanks,
can't
Richard.
talk.
Nice to meet
All right.
you. And then
Pleasure,
I'll get
man.
this out probably tomorrow.
Good to meet you guys.